Honorable Member, Honorable Mr. Anil Nandlall, you have the floor.
Sir, I want to begin by recognizing the excellent presentation made by my honorable colleague, Mr. Joe Hamilton. Sir, these measures, the ones contained in this bill, cannot be looked at in isolation. We are part of a process tonight that will culminate in the imposition on the backs of the Guyanese people of 134 tax measures. That's what we are engaged in. So we may have to overlap when we speak, because when we speak about a man who is a huckster and he is driving his truck or car or van to sell his goods, we can't speak about this measure alone of 62,500 and forget that he has to pay an increased road license, increased in a previous bill by 50%. He has to pay fitness for that very van, that raised by 100%. His driver's license fees gone up by 100%. His registration fees gone up by 100%. And then he has VAT and everything else. So when we speak about Uncle Ram or neighbor Jones, we are and he drives his little canter truck. When he comes into your village, he already has to pay a whole menu of measures, of expenses. And then on top of that, he is taxed $62,500. As the comrade said, $5,000 a month when it is broken down. This is a huckster who more likely than not has a loan at IPED. He owes BM SOT for the vehicle that he has to pay monthly. He has a box hand that he's throwing with his neighbor in the street. He has his children school fees to pay. And a whole set of other expenses. He didn't contemplate this because when he went to the ballot station to vote in 2015, he read a manifesto presented to him by the other side. And they said in the manifesto, no new taxes, reduction of taxes, we are promising you a better life, we care. And this is what they get now. This is what they get now. If they're selling Katahar, that is what they get. If the huckster is selling that. So, Mr. Speaker, I feel for the vendors and the hucksters who now have to bear this draconian, I like that word, these draconian measures that are coming out of nowhere. That are coming out of nowhere. Are you hearing the utterance of the rope and demolition? There may be a nexus because you see how many rice farmers. So, sir, we cannot be oblivious to the social circumstances in our country. The fact is that the economy in which we live is contracting. The Honorable Minister reported a growth rate for 2015 that was the lowest that the country recorded over the last 10 consecutive years. He himself, the Honorable Minister, in his presentation spoke to the decline of business in the country. We know that the dollar is depreciating. The budget doesn't speak to the attraction of new investments. And there is no measure here designed to attract new investments. So we have disposable income diminishing. Salaries are not increased. We are told about collective bargaining arrangement. But this hammer is falling. This hammer is falling, sir. 134 tax measures are imposed on the backs of the Guyanese people. And as my honorable colleague said, making them poorer than they were the day before. Because it's money that's coming, that's being taken directly from them. And there is no commensurate or proportionate increase in their income. So I don't know, sir, how and where and how the good life and from where this good life will beckon. Where? Not to the ordinary Guyanese, not to the sellers at border. I have the 100-day plan. I have the 100-day plan of the government. It says immediately implement phased reduction of VAT. Phased reduction of VAT. VAT is still, after 300 days, the rate is the same, 16%. Where is the phased reduction? What do we have instead? Every conceivable license fee is increased by 50, 100, and 1,001%, as my honorable colleague spoke about. The good life beckons for the Honorable Harman, and I'm not speaking to him. I am speaking to the people who have to bear the burden so that Mr. Harman can get a good life that he's speaking of. Because if the Honorable Member goes to Phoenix Park and he goes back to Port Drying, he can't convince the donkey cart man that he has to pay this huge sums of money. I can't do it in Annandale either. If we are to go back to our villages, sir, we will have difficulty. Because let me read this thing, sir. Permit me, with your kind permission. Every huckster who travels on foot, so the man who walks and sells, he sell broom, he sell rat poison, hair slide. You know the guy, he has a musical tone, sir. Rat poison, and he has a song. He doesn't know, poor fella, he doesn't know that the coalition government taxing him tomorrow morning. So, his little string, he has a whole set of string of ponytail and pony slides and mirrors and all machine needles and so on. He walks and sells. When the Honorable Member Clement Rohi goes to Freedom House tomorrow, he might have to tell them on the pave that the APNU government increased their fees. They can't walk there anymore and sell. They have to pay $3,500 instead of $200. So there is the one walking on foot, then or with a man-propelled vehicle. So this is the pushcart man. This is man-propelled. This is the music cart. Poor fella, I have to tell you, guy in Sophia, he passes my house every day, sir, and he plays a particular song, a chutney song when he passes my house. I have to tell him early tomorrow that he has to pay $3,500 as a new license fee. The snow cone cart man, the snow cone cart man has to pay $3,500. The coconut water vendor, he pushes a cart, man propelled. He has to spend from $200, he now has to pay $3,500. And then, sir, or a cycle, or if he has a cycle. So, the newspaper man, I see the Honorable Member Barry Ramsaran has a stash of Mirror newspapers there. I believe he's going to the market tomorrow. He better don't use a bicycle because the fee's gone up. He has to stand on the road because if he travels on foot, it's a tax. If he uses a man-propelled vehicle, it's a tax. If you use a cycle, it's a tax. I suppose if you stand one place and sell, they can't tax you. They can't tax you if you stand up one place and sell, sir. So that is how I am going to border tomorrow and speak to the vendors. And then, sir, the second class of vendors is who travels with a horse or other beast-bearing or drawing burden, the sum of 12,000. So this is the horse cart, the bull cart in the interior, and all these other people. The donkey cart man, he is not exempt. And my honorable member spoke about a man who pulls the cart through the village early in the morning. The honorable member, Mrs. Amna Ali, left the Edward a long time ago, sir. She forget about the crush ice man who comes with the donkey cart. And the syrup will now get thin because the tax is too much. It's 12,500. So from what? What it used to be? $1,000 is now 12,500. So the syrup, sir, will be like water. And then, sir, those who choose to sell in a motor vehicle, $62,500 from $5,000, $62,000. So this is another monthly expenditure that these people have to endure. At the end of the day, sir, at the end of the day, ultimately, it is the purchaser, the consumer, the ordinary Guyanese who will have to bear this cost. Because it will not be retained. These business persons, these hucksters, as they are described legislatively here, they are not going to absorb this cost without passing it on. So when we go, sir, in the market, as the Honorable Mr. Harman will go with his driver and so on, the Balanje price will go up. The shallot will go up. The poi bhaji will go up. Every single thing, sir, will go up in this country. Cost of living is continuously escalating. And there is, sir, no commensurate increase in income. What that means, sir, the average Guyanese becoming poorer and poorer with these measures. I thank you very much, sir.